Bobby Eberle. Want to make sure we show both sides as we always do here on NewsNation. Bobby, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
If we can first get your reaction to Democratic Congressman Garamendi about Elon Musk's DOGE cuts. There are reports that Russian and Chinese spies are now trying to recruit fired federal employees. So is Musk to blame for this, and how bad could this be for our national security?
No, I think it's going to be good. There's so much to counter with what the congressman said, but you hit the nail on the head. First, I want to get over to the viewers that the purpose, as Elon said, of the first email was a pulse check. It was to see if someone is on the other line, if they're actually working, because we know that there's federal buildings where 90% are not showing up. They're vacant. We need to see if these people are doing the jobs. And he's talking about vital programs. USAID is almost going to completely go away, and those critical tasks are going to be done. They will continue.
But do you think this is the right way to do it, though? Because it is certainly causing a ridiculous amount of confusion, particularly when you've got cabinet members saying, no, you don't have to answer the email, and then others saying you do. So what do you make of that?
Well, I think it's unorthodox, to say the least. And what happens then is that the media keys in on the unorthodox nature of it. What the key point is that this is and Elon said this himself, I believe, on Rogan, was to say that this is when it comes down to it, is an advisory position. We go to the different departments and say, this is what we found. Now you take action or not take action. And that's what they'll do. So we have this organization, this DOGE, that is going department by department and showing, here's inefficiencies, here's waste, fraud, and abuse. We put it on your desk. Let's do something about it. And luckily, we have the department heads, the secretaries, 100% in line. Now, if there's classified information, you can't really release that, sensitive materials. But all of this is advisory to the departments, and it's up to them to get the cuts made.
All right. Well, we've sliced and diced that one. Now let's move on to these pivotal moments in the Oval Office yesterday that had all of our jaws on the floor. So uncomfortable watching the exchange. Critics say Vice President J.D. Vance was kind of playing attack dog, demanding a thank you from Ukrainian President Zelenskyy in an ambush-style attack almost, with cameras rolling. I'll let you weigh in whether you think there's any truth to that.
What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Critics are saying this was almost a setup and that it was pre-planned. Do you think it was at all or not?
Not really, because there was a long time, I mean, tens of minutes going back and forth, doing what the meeting, that event, actually was supposed to do. It's a photo op, it's a press avail. You know, there's the diplomacy is done by Marco Rubio and his team and the Ukrainian counterparts. These are to show the rewards of that, the effects of that. We signed this deal. Now let's answer some questions. And as Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said, you know, Zelenskyy in the last couple of weeks had 2 opportunities to sign the minerals deal, and he refused. And he took this over. I guess the only thing risky was to see if he'd follow through yesterday. And he used it as an opportunity to go on the attack, to blow the deal. And that's when things went south. But I agree with you. It was hard to turn away. You were glued to the TV like, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah, but you also kind of wanted to look away. It was just so, uncomfortable.
I know. It was so strange.
Wow. Well, let's get to this. Today, Zelenskyy is publicly thanking President Trump in the United States, all of the Americans for our support with our taxpayer dollars, and you know, flags that have been waving for Ukraine in neighborhoods for the last 3 years. Can Trump and Zelenskyy come back from this tussle that some are saying was almost close to a barroom brawl and get to a peace plan to end the war in Ukraine?
Yes, I absolutely think he can. And I mean, the thing that people should realize is that the first step was yesterday, and sign the minerals deal. And President Trump is exactly right in that this is part of the security guarantee. When you have Americans in Ukraine doing business, that's a barrier in and of itself. Who wants to attack when there's Americans there in such a high profile and quite lucrative deal. I mean, we've spent billions. This will return the amount to us and allow us to be prosperous and provide security. And then we see what happens next. That's how diplomacy works. That's how negotiations work. And boy, he blew it in a major way. But I think they can come back to the table because first and foremost, President Trump wants peace. He wants the conflict to end.
Once again, NewsNation is all about news for all Americans. We like to hear both voices. Republican strategist Bobby Eberle, thank you so much for joining us today.
All right, friends, thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button above. Once you do, tell your friends, share it, spread the word about the 13-minute news hour so we can keep growing. And for more great content, check out these videos right here, and I'll see you next time.